into the talking inside the car. Nissan Altima 2023 SR. This is the front-wheel drive, 182 horsepower version. Do a quick walk around of the car.
Really nice color.
Yeah, beautiful color this thing is. Really, really like it.
Good looking car in general.
Yeah, it is. Nice gloss black rear diffuser they give you. Gloss black wheels. Very nice overall look. I've said, and it shouldn't be this way, but I've said it, that this car looks better than the Maxima, which is a shame. Interior, very nice. They did a nice job with stitching on the leather. You know, it's still your cheap, harder plastics on certain areas, but you know, it's a $30,000 Nissan, maybe in the low 30s, fully decked out. So I don't know what you're really expecting in terms of interior quality, but they really did do a good job with it. You know, there's not much rear leg room, but it's an Altima, not a Maxima. So we're gonna get into some of the talking points on this thing now inside the car. So going over just the basics before we get driving it and talking really about the car more in depth. You have your little screen here. The steering wheel is actually really nice. It's very small in person. It's kind of like a toy feel. It's very sporty. Like Dylan said, it reminded him of his GLI, his 2014 GLI.
The flat bottom wheel with the nice little sporty.
Yeah, paddles attached to the wheel, which I don't really like. I like when they're mounted, because as you turn and you're trying to shift, it just kind of weird. But you have your buttons here. You can cycle through different options, fuel economy, tire pressure, you know, just the simple stuff. A lot of frontward facing sensors for safety and adaptive cruise control. You have Apple CarPlay. My phone isn't hooked up. The Apple CarPlay, I rent a lot of cars for work. I've driven a lot of newer cars, Camrys, Corollas, Kias. Also the new Sentra, I reviewed. I don't think I reviewed it, but I drove it a few times. And this car, unlike all those other cars I listed, this car seems to have no quirks in terms of Apple CarPlay. No glitching with the audio, no delays, it's smooth. Yeah, I mean, everything's pretty self-explanatory. I like how simple they kept it. You have your climate right down here. They separated that. You don't have to go through here to do climate.
That's super annoying.
Like on a lot of the new cars. Center console. Just pretty simple stuff. Now we'll get into the driving and talking about mainly why this car, in my opinion, after driving it for 700 or 800 miles now, is really like a phenomenal choice in the budget that it's in. After driving this car for like 700 or 800 miles, I just did a trip from Connecticut to Baltimore and back. This car specifically is the 180 horsepower front wheel drive model. There's one that I'm really interested. It's also the SR, but it's the VC turbo one, and it's all-wheel drive with a 250 horsepower turbo engine. That one seems like it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Based on how this one gets out of its own way, not too bad.
Yeah, it really isn't that bad at all for what it is. The interesting part for me is always, you know, resale on these cars. Nissan and Infiniti products are notoriously bad with depreciation compared to other Japanese cars in its class like Toyota, Honda. So what I like about this car is once it hits like the 30,000-40,000 mile range, you can probably get a fully loaded all-wheel drive turbo one that I was just mentioning for probably in the very low 20s.
Yeah.
Which is, for this car, I feel like a great deal. And yeah, the only issue, like we were talking about, is the transmission. As a CVT, there is no manual option. And on these cars, specifically Nissans, they have a real bad fail point with their CVT transmissions.
We all know.
Yeah, we all know. There's no denying that, whether you love Nissan and Infiniti or not. They're garbage. The CVTs they put in this car are garbage. I've had horror stories where my Rogue that I used to have, I was driving it home. The CVT fluid was changed meticulously on the dot by Nissan at every service interval that they recommended. And I'm driving home on the highway and it just blows. Not a single warning sign. It just goes into limp mode on the side of 287, which is a major interstate highway. So yeah, I have no love lost for Nissan and their CVT transmissions.
I mean, unfortunately, that's just something we're going to all have to start learning to live with because everybody's doing it.
Yep, it's
Everybody's doing it.
Everybody is doing it. And, you know, it kind of takes away from the aspect of the fun of the car. Like, we got on the highway, I punched it, and, like, I'm like, wow, I'm already hitting 80, 90 miles an hour, but...
Smooth, too, very smooth.
Yeah, and the car feels great on the highway, by the way, and at, you know, highway cruising speeds. But you get up to that speed, and you're like, I don't know, that was kind of boring. You know? That's
the problem. Yeah, it takes away from the excitement. I mean, that's why people like manuals still. You know, like my GLI, I got the 6-speed. The DSG automatic is faster. I get that. But so many people still prefer the manual just because of the feel and, you know, what you're getting, the performance you get out of it.
Yeah. You know, it's a shame with Nissan because they really went downhill since the early 2000s when they were bought by Renault, and their quality in general started to tank, and they really had an opportunity to do something better with these newer remodels on the Sentra, the Altima. Let's not even get into that abomination of a Nissan Maxima. But these two cars, specifically the Altima and the Sentra, I feel like are great options for people to get into if they warranty that transmission.
Yes.
And that's the only way I could recommend that. So Dylan's driving now, getting on the highway, and he's playing with the paddles. So what did you notice with the paddles?
Yeah, there's no like way of engaging them or turning them on and off. You kind of just use them, and it's in paddle mode. And then if you just now, I put it in the mode where I can see what gear I'm in and control it. And if I just don't do anything, it goes back into regular drive. You'll see it, the 8 change into a D.
Yeah, because there's no way here. There's
nothing on the shifter. There's no sport mode.
Sport.
Yeah.
So that's kind of annoying, and also just the fact that there's paddle shifting in a CVT transmission is just also, it's just a weird feel, you know.
I mean, it does give you some more control over the, I guess.
Yeah.
RPM. I don't know. It's not, you know.
Yeah, I get what you mean. But
I'll play around with it on a back road, and maybe it'll be a little more fun to drive like that. I'm sure it will be, but yeah, it's just I don't like that there isn't like a designated sport mode to put the car into.
Yeah.
Where that's it. You're the one controlling the shifts. And of course I get it all, and you know, other cars that do have a designated sport mode, they're not gonna just let you shift it in a second and hold it at 7,000 RPM, you know, driving down the highway. It's eventually gonna override.
Yeah.
But this one just does it so quick on its own. It's like,
it does. But I mean, overall, the driving of it,
very, very comfy.
Yeah, it's
These seats are super comfortable. They're like a softer leather.
They bolster pretty well.
Yeah, they do. They kind of hold you in a little bit. Not too much. Not like aggressive. You know, like the GLI seats, my car, if I weighed like 30 more pounds, that seat would be so uncomfortable because of how it hugs your hips.
Yeah.
But, you know, these are nice. These are very comfy. I mean, I'm a fan. I've always been a fan of Nissans. I've had a few myself. My first car, technically, second car was a Nissan Xterra. Couldn't kill it. And then at one point, I owned a 95 Maxima.
That was when Nissan was Nissan.
Yeah, that was a sweet car.
As we were saying earlier. Yeah. But yeah, this thing's pretty awesome overall. I mean, like I said, it's a contender for a great, affordable used car for, you know, for your bang for your buck on what you're getting. Because depreciation hits them so quick. It's really not a bad deal at all.
Oh no, this is definitely, like you were saying, definitely a contender for that because of the price point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like me personally, I don't see myself buying a brand new car for a long time, maybe ever, because it's just the prices are like with this car. Why, if I'm really into this car and I really am like, oh man, I want that Altima, I want the turbo version, all-wheel drive, why would I go and spend over 30 grand, close to 40, when I could just wait 2 or 3 years for somebody to turn their lease in?
Yeah, it makes no sense. I mean, that's something we discussed on this channel a lot, because we try and get into recommending cars for our viewers, the very few subscribers that we do have, try and steer them in the right direction, not only with the car, but how to get it financially. And I mean, there's just 0 point in doing what he just said. When you could, especially...
That's why it's this way, right? Sorry.
Yeah, especially on this car, when you're getting it, like he said, in the mid to upper 30s, if you want it fully decked, every single option, that higher SR trim, you could just wait 2 to 3 years, like he said,
Yep.
and spend mid to low 20s, because these cars get hit hard with depreciation, unlike a Honda or a Toyota. You might want to think about that differently with a car like that.
Yeah.
But I would never buy a car new. It's just how I am. I've never also in my life had a car new. It's just how I am. I make what I have run, you know? So I'm driving again, and we're just gonna wrap up the video. I think we've said enough about this car. We always recommend a car for purchase at the end of each video and what we overall think. For me, it's a yes. Like I said, if you're gonna purchase it in the manner of buying used and you know, getting the best bang for your buck, not wasting money on depreciation, buying it brand new, I think this is a great used car option.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
Yeah.
I would have to agree. I enjoy driving it. It's very comfortable. You know, like I told Nick, I'm like, shit, I'd be trying to get this car every time you gotta get a rental for work. Unfortunately, that doesn't work that way for him. But
yeah, I wish.
Yeah, just a very enjoyable car to drive. I mean, my only complaint, and it's not even that crazy, is the Apple CarPlay, the whatever you want to call this, your radio. I'm not a fan of when it looks like they took somebody's iPad and just mounted it to the dashboard. I know a lot of people like it.
Yeah, like me.
Like Nick.
I like it.
For me, I'm not a fan of it, but in this car, it fits well.
It does, yeah.
But yeah, that's about it.
That's about it, guys. Thank you. Like, share, subscribe. Please comment. Let us know your thoughts on this one. Until next time.
Peace.